What up, Dokkanners? We are back once again for yet another tier list. This time we are going to be covering the top 10 LRs as of the end of March 2026. We have now had the Saiyan Day 2026 release. So with this new LR, there has been a bit of a shakeup in the lineup. So yet another one of the more high profile units are going to be bumped off. But again, this does not mean that they suck. It just means that there are even better characters. We are in such a good place in the game LR wise that there are just way too many good units to consolidate in the top 10. You would have to call it top 15 minimum in order to really like encapsulate all of the best LRs in the game. This is my opinion, so if you guys have differing opinions, please let me know in the comments down below. There are going to be certain things that I think people are going to find very, very different from their own, which is totally fine. People value certain aspects of characters differently. Now, before I start, I do want to mention something. This is a redo of a video that I did on my last live stream. I had a pretty reasonable crash out and I felt like it was a little too much to have in the video. So let me just start by saying my opinions are my own. This game and how it's covered is very similar with a lot of content creators in my circle. Mas Ningen, Dat Truth, you know, all these other guys. There are a lot of people who cover the game. A lot of us have a lot of similar overlap when it comes to content schedule, content type, content release, and all that stuff. Because certain creators are larger than others, sort of has an influence on that sort of thing. So in terms of content similarities, that is going to happen. But in terms of opinions and placements on tier lists, it is purely coincidental because I don't actively watch other content creators' videos. And I say actively. I will leave them running to help out my fellow contemporaries, but I don't actively watch them because I don't want their opinions to influence my own. That being said, the idea of me doing tier lists was based on requests. You guys asked for me to do these things, so I've started to do them. You guys wanted best team videos, I've started to do them. You guys wanted no new units, I started to do them. So you guys can joke and roast and all that stuff, feel free, but just know that I am not ripping and copying and pasting other people. All right, this is a much cleaner version than what I said on stream. So that's why I'm putting it this way. Anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Let me start by reconstructing my tier list from last time. I still believe, spoiler alert, at the end of the day, UI is still number one. UI Royal Blue is still the number one unit in the game, even with Majin Vegeta showing up here. So we got Blue Goku, we got Piedmon, leader of the Dark Masters. This dude was number 9, this dude was number 10. This really bummed some people out. Who else do we have in here? Diamond Super Saiyan 3 got bumped. Doesn't mean he sucks, just means that there are other really, really good units. I believe I had it like, was it like this? I believe I had it like this. No, I had it like this, didn't I? Pretty sure I had it like that. This dude was here, and it was this, or maybe it was like this. One of these two. I'm actually gonna pull up my tier list and let me check and see what I did. All right, I was a little off. Okay, so Diamond Super Saiyan 4 up here, and then it was like this, and then it was like this. There we go. All right, so that is my top 10 from the middle of March. Oh, wow. I did this like 2 weeks ago, didn't I? Okay. So what does that do? What does this tier list look like once we bring in this guy? Well, in terms of where we can start to narrow down, I think minimum he is in the top 4. Because this guy's offense rivals that of Diamond Super Saiyan 4. This guy's defense as the Goku version rivals that of the Blue Goku. Now, certain key differences here is in terms of support, this guy gives a better support in terms of his defense. However, it's not by a whole lot. The Goku does provide team defense for multiple turns, I think, right? Yeah, it's not the Vegeta, it's actually the Goku. When all parts of his passive are firing, you're actually giving everybody attack and defense plus 50% to Majin Buu Saga characters. That's on the one turn. It's not a multi-turn thing. So you are providing a team element, just not to the same degree, but it still is pretty substantial. So essentially what I'm saying is this guy matches this dude's vibe. This dude matches this dude's vibe as well. Basically meaning Vegeta can probably go up there. Another thing, a very underrated thing. So if you're thinking Batoon, the dodging and the defense and stuff, turn 1, if you can get that Majin Buu Saga condition going, you can switch to the Goku and you will have a 75%, actually 85% chance to dodge on that first turn, and you'll default back to 75%. Also while boasting a pretty impressive 53% damage reduction and guard. all on your first turn. Again, pretty emblematic of this guy. He has, I don't remember what exactly it was, like, is it 70% chance to dodge with 60% damage reduction? You know what? Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up for some comparisons sake. All right, so this guy right here. Okay, so he gets 60% chance to dodge based on this. He gets another 20% chance to dodge based on this. So that's 80% chance to dodge, 60% damage reduction. He does not have guard. Oh, wow. No, 70% damage reduction. 70% damage reduction and 80% chance to dodge. That is impressive, all without guard. He gets the guard if you were to use, on that one turn, if you switch him to Vegeta and he uses his active skill, he gives himself guard, then you can switch back and you can actually take advantage of that. But otherwise, yeah. So this guy is still impressive, but this guy basically does that, but more. So I think that that is enough to move this guy into the number 2 spot. Now, I will say one major con about this unit that I think people are not like paying too much attention to, and this was very prevalent in my Max Links video, is that defensively, this guy's sort of deceivingly flimsy at times. So on the first turn, let's just say, for example, you meet all the conditions on the first turn. You've got 5 or more extreme class, or you pick up 7 key spheres. First turn, you're good. 72% damage reduction, guaranteed guard. You're going to be attacking, stacking, and all that stuff. Great. On the second turn, if you have this unit once again anchoring your rotations in the slot 1, you now no longer have this 180% extra defense when receiving an attack. And for a unit that only stacks once each turn, and who doesn't have a whole lot of combo power along with that one stack, you're still kind of susceptible to some major damage in the slot 1 before you get to super. Don't forget, you get an extra 200% defense when receiving an attack from an enemy who is hit by the character's super attack. That only happens in slot 2 or in slot 1 if they don't super before you do, which doesn't always happen. So in terms of the absolute slot 1 sort of role that your typical slot 1 units will play, this unit actually suffers to an extent because of this. So I remember in my Max Links video, you should go back and check it out, I took 41,000 damage from the LR Tech Fusion Zamasu at the end of the Divine Wrath Mortal Will event. That is a very mid event in the grand scheme of things compared to the newer events and how much more challenging they are. But the fact that that older event from 3 years ago did that much damage to me is pretty significant, because that means that the newer events, the harder hitting units, are going to bypass that and do a lot more damage. And in that same video, Bio Broly did, I think on the first or second turn, 100 something thousand. No, 150,000? Something like that. So this is significant. And in the slot 2, this guy is going to be far more reliable. But that slot 1, again, sort of one of the metrics we use with this guy to compare, and also this one, there are some issues. So because of that, I still do put him at the number 2, but he cannot overtake the number 1 for me, because this guy's individual functionality in any situation, long form, short form, is still unmatched. Guaranteed dodge, 100% damage reduction. You can always hold on to the one versus the other. And this unit doesn't need to build up. For this guy's defense to become much more prominent and useful in the absolute slot 1, you would need a little bit of build up, which sometimes you don't have. So that's why this will forever be a, well, not forever, but for now, this is going to be a number 2. So that means everybody else gets bumped down, which means I got bad news. Well, I mean, not really. But yeah, this dude's off. Now, again, it doesn't mean he sucks. It doesn't mean he's bad. It just means we are in such a good place that look at this. Sorry about that. I was choking. But look at this, man. Look at that. Rosé. Golden Frieza. Who else would be up here? The Super Saiyan 4s. Oh crap, I forgot to put a bait. I gotta put a bait unit. Okay, bait. All right, so yeah, this is my official tier list. Everybody knows who belongs here. You guys know that. But who else? Who are some other honorary members that would be among the top LRs? Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Yep. Look at all of these guys. Gohan. You got, dude, the 10th anniversary. I haven't even mentioned the 10th anniversary. My God. Look at this. Look at how much we are prospering in Dokkan with all of these dominant LRs. And look at these guys. I'm probably going to be getting some hate comments for these being bumped off, but that is the place that we are in. We are in such a good place. There are so many dominant forces of nature that you simply cannot contain all of them in the top 10. All right. That is where we are. but absolutely not number one. I do not think this is the best unit in the game. Not by, well, I don't want to say not by a long shot. It is kind of close. I will say Festival of Battles kind of opened my eyes. The lack of combos is very disheartening with this unit. I feel like all of the other major contenders all have a good amount of combo power for what, like, you know, just to kind of match their immense damage output. This guy's combo power is very disappointing. Majin Vegeta especially, you have one perma stack. I think it's because you only stack once. Now, I'm not saying that we should change all the characters to function similarly. I do like that these characters are different, but that was kind of a bummer when I ran through Festival of Battles, because it felt like the one attack was doing all the heavy lifting while the others were kind of just guzzling up opportunities for other units. But if they were all just perma stacks, then it would have been all but going into a, you know, a singular place. That would have been fine. But yeah, I don't know when I'm dropping this video, if it's going to be before or after the Festival of Battles, but if you haven't seen it, go watch that and see how this unit performs. It's still very impressive, but lack of combos also kind of puts this on a tier below. So it's nice to see that my Tournament of Power boys are still at number one. I think they will probably remain that way, minimum at least until mid-April, but I don't think that this is going to come close. That's my guess. Although, you know, the last time we thought that, Goma showed up. Goma's the Yellow Queen LR. So if I were to guess when the next actual like top 10 LR will emerge, it will not be this. It will be Golden Week Part 2. So the middle of May. So that means for the next 2 months, this will be the top 10 LR list. UI Goku, Majin Vegeta, Blue Goku, Piedmon, Super Saiyan 4, Goku Daima Adult, Kai Fighters Goku, Spirit Bomb Z, Spirit Bomb GT, Super Saiyan 4, Vegeta / Goku, and Royal Blue Vegeta, which obviously we know is this guy. Okay, it's just a bait. It's just a bait. It's just a bait. Omega Shenron. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like down below. Leave in the comments your thoughts on my tier list. Do you agree with some of the pitfalls that the Majin Vegeta and the Slot 1 defense can potentially bring with the Majin Vegeta and the Goku? Or do you disagree? What other units on this list do you guys agree with in terms of placement? What are some hot takes that you have in terms of certain characters that deserve to be at the number 10 or higher spot? Let me know your thoughts overall, respectfully, of course, in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let each know when I see more as I do it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.